Welcome to the Raj Kotecha Show, #1 podcast in Dubai. And as always, it's a lot going on the screen right now. You can see everything that we talked about. So YouTube crew, jump to the chapters that are interesting to you. And of course, audio fam, make sure you check out the descriptions. Now, some of the things I really enjoyed talking about on today's episode are, firstly, the fact that a lot of the events that we thought we were going to do, we're now not going to be doing. But I might be going to London and Toronto, so a bunch of information on that. We also talk about where we've been, out and about, listening to music, going to WESLODGE, going to World Art Dubai. We go into all that. And then we talk about some incredible content that we've seen, including Steve Harvey on Earn Your Leisure and SADHGURU'S recent media tour across the US. And then finally, we've got quite a long bit on Kanye West getting banned on Instagram for 24 hours. What does that mean for social media? What does that mean for his career? It's an incredible episode. Go to the part that you enjoy the most or watch the whole thing. Alex, run the music. Okay, so as promised, Kish, here's your formal intro.
Well, how you all doing? Thank you for having me here.
It's good to have you here, bro. So as I mentioned, or I alluded to in the intro, this guy, we go way back, and we originally met through Vik and I's cousin, Vinay. We were out and about in central London, found out that we were both music geeks, and
That's right.
just went to a lot of events together. You used to write blogs on Love Soul TV. You DJ'd at numerous parties for me. You DJ'd for Giles Peterson, Red Bull, so many cool things. You've got your own show on HFM. You are about as much of a music head as anybody can be, and you've probably got more gig stubs than anybody I've ever met, because you've just been to basically every hip-hop gig for the last 20 years in London. Is that fair?
Yeah, I ain't going to deny that. Yeah, I've earned my stripes and then some in terms of being a music head in the best capital city in the world for music, which is London. And I did a few blog pieces for your site, Love Soul, yours and Vik's. And I remember the first post that I did was, so this was like a couple of years after, or a year after Jay Dilla passed away. And a bunch of rappers came together to do a freestyle tribute, included Bun B and Terminology over the Say It beat. That was a beat that was on a Jay Dilla compilation called J Stay Paid. And I did a review of that particular feature on your site as my first blog post.
Nice.
And I remember you gave me a lot of positive feedback on that, and still contributed some pieces on and off for your site ever since. And the rest is history.
Here we are, full circle on the
That's
the latest media thing that we have, which is the podcast. Have you heard any of the episodes of this podcast yet?
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of the previous one. I had to stop because I've not seen Batman. I know.
Neither's Vik.
I know you said that you were not giving any spoilers, but I didn't believe you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen it, so there was definitely no spoilers.
And Alex still hasn't seen
I
it.
haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't either?
No.
Alex literally gets into a hot bath every night and tries to stream it, and it doesn't happen. So
So I shouldn't have pressed pause then on it.
no, there was no spoilers, but it's fine. Listen, the 75% in this room has not seen Batman, so you're in good company. So let's get into today's topics. Vik.
So out and about.
Out and about
this week.
Yeah, it's weird because like we were not out and about that much this week compared to other weeks, because I've been at home a lot doing a lot of work on the 4Ps, but we did hit up Aquaventure.
Yes, we went as a little family day out. Me, Shayla, my wife, Ine, my son, and you came along.
Yeah, Shayla and the wife are the same person, by the way. He goes, me, Shayla, my wife, my son.
No, he said Ine, my son. He's
Shayla,
just saying who they are.
Oh, he said who
maybe
they
the
are.
viewers
Because
don't
you know who they are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the audience might not.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah, we all went out and you came along. It was cool. It was good fun. Like, it's just a nice little day out.
Mm-hmm.
Get the boy tired.
Had some curly fries, wondered why I looked terrible coming down the slide.
Why you got stuck in one of the slides.
They had to put more pressure down. They had to do a colonic down the slide just to pump me out. No, none of this happened. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But prior to WESLODGE prior to Aquaventure, and the reason why the first thing I did at Aquaventure was jump off the 8-foot wall was because the night before, me and Chief Hobnob Officer
What's up?
went to WESLODGE. So we started off in Business Bay, and so that was a good night. And then yeah, we were kind of forced to go to WESLODGE.
Well, you were forced. I didn't mind going.
Oh yeah, God, this guy is such a hater. So I said to him, I don't want to go WESLODGE. I've been working all day. I've not freshened up in any way. I was just like, we're going to go to Business Bay, have a drink with Pally. It's just going to be like, well, Pally was going to be there as well with his crew. So it'd be just like some ghetto stuff. enough people wanted to meet that night. So I said, let's all just meet at once. And then we did. And then, so Sandeep persuaded me to go out for half an hour. But I must say this, and I've been meaning to say this on record for a long time. I said, let's go out for half an hour. Absolutely my hypothesis as I was walking in. But goddamn, Travi is such a good DJ.
Yeah, it's great.
That I went in there and I sat in there for half an hour. And I mean, two minutes into just walking into a room where he's DJing, you're like, I'm basically here till 3. So for those who don't know, Travi is a guy, he's one half of Mixed Feelings, which remind me of a Young Love Soul. Him and Beruz, they did their first debut gig at the Shivas campaign that I did.
Yeah.
And they're just great, but they're both incredible. But with Travi, because he's from Toronto, because there's so much, which I can't describe unless I take a lot of time out to think about it, but there's so much about his style that's uniquely Toronto, uniquely mashed, especially his ability to time travel in his sets. I would say that he's, on balance for me, probably one of, if not the best DJ in Dubai. I would say that before doing Papa, at Love Soul at Papa, obviously I did the warm-up set for Edition Hotel, but my benchmark in my head was Travi. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be as good as him because I don't DJ that much in a year, but he reminds me of like me at my peak, like incredible DJ, definitely wild, definitely like gets stuck in, but so talented. So massive recommendation. If you ever pass through the city, find out where Mixed Feelings are DJing. And yeah, Travi's just incredible. They're both, as a duo, that's the best version of them. Yeah. But when this guy goes out on his own and he's just unhinged, he's just an incredible DJ.
The time travel thing is important but he does it well because he knows the music. So a lot of people can time travel because you know this, you go back and forth in eras and genres, but he does it so fluidly and so well. There's an energy about it and I love it.
Yeah, I'd say his music's the music that got me onto modern music. Like there are a lot of cats that play modern music, but his ability to navigate like Afrobeat, Latin music, things like that, really makes me go, okay, yeah. And I stay on Shazam when I'm at his gigs.
I'd pay for a Shazam subscription
yeah,
if I was at his gigs every week.
Yeah, he's superb. So shout out to him and thank you for all your hospitality. And shout out to his parents as well.
Yeah,
that were in the house that night.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, they were like proper couple goals. They looked really smart. They were at a table. They had some red wine with them, and they were just like in love and just having a good time and super proud of their son. So that was like
it was
amazing. Who else did we meet? Anybody else that night in West Lodge? Shout out to the whole crew at
everybody
West
who
Lodge.
was there.
Yuri was there again.
Oh, was he? Amazing.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. Vlad.
Yeah.
All the crew over there. It's really nice to see them. So West Lodge, probably the most consistent fun night in the city. I mean, it's been several years now, and that party is still one of the best parties, even before In My Mixed Feelings took over. But now I think it's like the best it's ever been. So, yeah, super gig. And then where else did we go this week?
World Art. You guys went to World Art.
No, he went to World Art. I went to Art Dubai. 2 different events.
Art Dubai was last weekend, right?
Yes.
And World Art was during the week.
Well, how was Art Dubai?
So tell us about Art Dubai.
It was pretty cool. I think it's much bigger than World Art, right?
I don't know because I think Art Dubai is citywide. World Art Dubai is, I think it's mostly based out of World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how World Art Dubai is, but Art Dubai was dope. It was a cool event. They had a whole section dedicated to NFTs this year and just digital art, which is cool. So that's what I found most interesting, just because, I mean, I've been to galleries before, but NFT galleries, like, it's just a different thing to see.
Anything particular that stood out? Any artists, any pieces of art?
There was one artist. I don't want to say his name because I don't remember it, but it was really cool. My dad took some pictures of it. I can throw it up on as an overlay, but really cool art pieces. And then that was dope. Not cheap, but yeah.
Cool. And then World Art?
World Art was good. I only went for under 90 minutes. I actually, I want to talk about this at some point, one of the chapters about my time at the moment. I want to just give some examples about some stress that I'm going through, but like I went for 90 minutes. Kish was in town.
Yeah.
Our friend Sal came back to town from London, and I was like, okay, I'm going to hang out with Kish. I'm going to catch up with Sal. The main driver for going to that place particularly was because Puja, 1800.weirdo on Instagram, was displaying her stuff through the Morrow Collective. So I definitely wanted to go down and show support for that. That looked incredible. And then I met up with Iris, who's a friend of ours, who needed some advice. So I was able to do that 1 hour of advice there whilst we were walking around. And then Kim was in the house.
Yep.
So she said a quick hello, but I didn't get a chance to hang out with anybody for more than 20 seconds. Most of the time I was just talking about content strategy. And then I made some notes on my phone and I came back. And then I think you guys texted me about the packing list for the shoot the next day.
Yes.
So I had to excuse myself from there and come home. So, but what did I think of it? I mean, and also Big Hass was there.
Okay.
And he was in the corner of my eye, but I was so deep in conversation. He was hosting a live graffiti thing.
Oh, wow.
And I really wanted to go over to him and say what's up and but I didn't get a chance. So shout out to you, Hass, for always being wherever some cool stuff like this is going down. But I really liked it. I was only in one hall, and I know that there was at least 4 halls. And I can imagine if they were all as good as the one that I was in, it's great fun. And I know you're thinking about passing through there this weekend.
Yeah.
I think Ine will love it because there was lots of different styles. Actually, let me throw the ball to you, Kish, because you did get a chance to patiently walk around. What did you think of World Art Dubai?
I thought it was very impressive. I want to give a big, actually a special shout out to an artist I didn't meet called SADHGURU'S. He had a big piece there, which was all these comic book characters, Marvel, Batman, etc., all in London. And it was basically, he had visited London a few years earlier and just had the inspiration to put that piece up. Really, really, really good. So I got to chatting with him when I was walking around the festival along with Salman. And
Did you take any pictures?
Yeah, I did.
Can we throw some of them up?
Yeah, I'll put some up.
Yeah, I'll pass you the photos, innit?
Yeah.
And then just going around, I also saw that I call it a spray jam. I didn't see Big Hass, but I did see the area that you were talking about there too. Just very impressed with the realm of different pieces of art that Dubai is investing, gaining a lot of momentum there. Obviously, like in London, you have a lot of street art all around the spot. And I would say like there's a barrier, like you're not going to be as revolutionary or as really slamming as say what you have in London, but it's come a long way and it's really good to see.
I think it's interesting that you said that, because I think about 3 years ago, about 3 years ago, there wasn't this artistic culture in Dubai. But there was like little splashes of it. You see street art, but it's controlled. You know,
That's
it's
right.
in a pop-up
Yeah.
or, you know, in a food truck pop-up or something like that, and you'll see some like street art, whatever. And those are like little signs. And now all of a sudden, fast forward 3 years later, you've got 2 massive exhibitions in 1 week. And
But you know, these exhibitions always existed.
Yeah.
So they're part of the Dubai regular calendar. So there has been a lot. It's just got even bigger.
maybe it's just that. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
because
just
3 years ago you were in Abu Dhabi, but there was
Also true,
But even
yeah.
where we were working in DIFC, you know, there was like
There was
Pablo
stuff.
Escobar on artwork inside DIFC, outside Capital Club. So and there was certain things like there was a Coca-Cola can in the background. So there was stuff where it is edgy. You're not going to get anything that's, you know, that's going to be a net negative for the city. But art is alive and well here.
So I guess it's the volume and the number of contributors.
Yeah.
Now probably, and then also like just the creativity is growing. Like, you know, you talk about NFT and it's probably just now it's just volume, and now it's picking up pace, and now people see it as a real culture and something that they can contribute to for the city, and more people will contribute.
And I'll also say as well, I felt there was an overlap, a fair bit actually, at the World Art Fair with pop-up culture. And even sometimes you were walking around the festival and it felt like Comic-Con at times. And that's being embraced more and more in Dubai from what I gather as well.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of comic book festivals here within It's awesome. It's good fun.
It's always, there's always been a big scene. Like shout out to Sultan Al Kasmi, my friend. He's got the biggest collection of Arabic artwork in the Middle East and in the world, actually. I've not seen him for a while, but I need to say what's up to him at some point. But no, it's been a big scene here for a while. But I'd say probably, to your point, Vic, what's made it become even more pronounced to people that were not typically swimming around in the art scene like yourself is how quick they've gone in on NFTs. Like there is like, and I only see this through the lens of what Puja's doing with 1800 Weirdo, but her stuff is on rotation at some gallery in the Middle East every single week.
Yeah.
And then you think about it and you think to yourself, there's an interesting, I don't want to be a typical Indian about this, but there's an interesting like relationship between CapEx and OpEx on this, which is that if you look at the operating expense as an artist of getting your art around, well, it's just sending the file. If you look at the capital expense of having a digital art gallery, Well, before it was very low because a room with 4 white walls is ready to become a gallery. In digital, it's not the case. In digital, you need display screens. And those display screens need to be good enough to do justice to the artwork that's done. And, you know, if you see a lot of this digital artwork, they're not rendering it at 720. They're doing it super HD. So if you now want to have a digital art gallery, you've got to make sure you put some effort in. And what's interesting about the business model that I've seen there as well is that if you feel inspired to buy the artwork at that art gallery, there's a QR code. You can obviously buy it on the spot, become the owner of the artwork whilst you're in the gallery without taking something off the wall. It now becomes yours. And because you purchased it at that art gallery, because the art gallery paid the cost to do the gallery, they instantly can get a commission, which is incredible. You walk up to something, you see it, you like it, you pull up the QR code for it, you buy it there and then on the spot. The artist gets paid, the gallery gets paid, any other stakeholders get paid, and you are now the owner of that. And actually, I guess essentially you could, if you wanted to, depending on the smart contracts associated to the artwork, you could then say to people, that's the last time that you officially show it. Like if you want the owner's endorsement to show it in your gallery, and now you could just do it otherwise. We had an interesting conversation yesterday in the car about NFTs.
About NFTs.
You want to tee it up?
Okay, so I think eventually, because technically NFTs are just a way to prove you own something. So why would everything not become one? Because as of now, and the technology that's behind, let's say tickets to an event, which is a popular like way people show what NFTs will become in the future. But tickets, let's say I find a ticket to an event, I can print it, Photoshop it, put my name on it and everything. But if that's in the blockchain through an NFT, there's no way for me to fake that. If it's not there, then I don't have it. I don't own it.
And what I was saying to you was that even Web 2.0 hasn't taken over the world. For some people, Web 1.0 hasn't taken over the world. There are people that don't use Microsoft Word and Excel. They're a minority, but of course there are people all over the world, probably north of 1 billion or 2, that really have no interest in, you know, computation and things of that nature. So my pushback to you was that nothing ever is on full ends of the extreme. You know what I mean? Like it just adjusts the ratio. So I talk about this in the 4 Ps, which is that I remember when tapes came out, they said 8 tracks would be dead. And then, well, actually, they when 8 tracks came out, they said vinyl would be dead. And then CD was supposed to kill the tape, and MP3 was supposed to kill the CD, and then streaming was supposed to kill the MP3. And now, if you want to go to a show of a really good DJ, you might pay £10 to just go and see them DJ. But if that DJ said, I'm bringing my own vinyl collection from home, and I'm only going to play on vinyl, that £10 ticket can become a £25 ticket. So the ratio of the way that the media is used has changed. And the example I gave to you is that, yeah, there are different people that own Bored Apes at the moment. But if somebody in Dubai, for everything that becomes institutional, like you're talking about, that then becomes counterculture and counter-institution. So the example I gave to you is that if somebody in Dubai right now opened a gallery and it had, I don't know, 1,000 screens in, and it said, we're going to show every Bored Ape and we proudly do not own them, you're still paying to go. Because there's the convenience factor for you, which is I can go and see every Bored Ape in one place, as opposed to combing through OpenSea, combing through the blockchains and seeing who owns what. If I can walk into a place where there's 1,000 digital screens and all they do is each one rotates 5 Bored Apes so that I can get a chance to see all of them, and there's drinks and a DJ, you're paying to go to that event. So nothing is ever like on both. And also there was another story as well about CryptoPunks and
CryptoPunks and
Bored
Bored
Ape.
Apes are merging.
Yeah.
I don't
What's
know
the story on that?
Yeah, I don't know the whole story on it, but
Maybe Vik, you can grab that as well. That'd be
yeah,
quite
but also
interesting
Bored
one.
Ape launched their own coin.
Okay, what's up with that?
Basically, you can every Bored Ape you receive a certain amount of tokens from it, and you can redeem it. So you're basically getting money back from buying a Bored Ape.
Okay, so that means that the Bored Ape itself will be the tier 1 premium item.
Yes.
And having a Bored Ape coin would be a tier 2.
Yeah.
So it becomes almost like the cufflinks or the belt buckle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, it released on Binance last night. Yeah, I think when I first saw it, it was at like $7. Woke up this morning, it was at like 11 overnight. But who knows? You know, it's first day, it's out. Anything can happen after that.
I think they're probably going to spend some time Like they'll just let it do what it does organically.
I'm sure, yeah.
You know, it's probably weird when you launch a coin. You know, when you put a piece of content online, you don't really boost it for the first 24 hours because you want to juice all the organic upside. And then you start boosting it, or you quote unquote start pumping it. When you run an advert on Instagram, you're pumping your content. So I think what Bored Ape guys are going to do is they're going to just put it out there, let whoever wants to buy it naturally, see where it levels out, see what the new base is, and then they'll start pumping it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Rugby team, you made it?
No. Ine got to the final of the junior NBA.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn, nice.
So I was telling you about it. The other day.
Yeah.
I won't say what it is, but yeah, he made it to the final. He did.
How many in the final?
Don't know yet. There's stages where they do presentations on their business plan and their
Nice.
idea, and he did his yesterday, and he's made it to the final.
Sick.
Then he'll present it to like the junior NBA kind of panel, I think, and then go from there.
Congratulations to Ine.
Right?
That's
Proud
recorded?
father
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, I know it's recording.
Is it? Oh, no, I'm saying it is, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
proud
All right.
father moment.
Proud father moment. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
still waiting to have that with you, Alex.
Sure. Hopefully I don't disappoint.
We'll wait and see.
Okay, next.
4P's content strategy update.
Okay, we're still in full 4P's content strategy mode. We did another 4P's content strategy workshop this week
Yep.
to a husband and wife couple who were just incredible. And we really, at this second one, we took a lot of new 4P's material to that workshop so that they got a little bit more punch for the workshop. But we also, I think we extracted, or we worked out some of the bits as well. So here's what's going to happen with the 4P's for anybody who's asked. So I got a DM this morning from, beep his name out, and he said, why don't you get everybody who's done the 4P's and had massive success to give you a 1-minute testimonial and explain what they're doing in their world when it comes to content. So that's something that we've got to add on to our to-do list. But roughly what the next couple of weeks are going to look like are, next week we've got no shoots, which is rare because we've had a lot of back-to-back shoots recently. Vik is here, I'm here, Alex is here, and we're basically going to finish off the 4P's.
Yeah.
I've got as much time to work on it solo as I need to, as much time to check it with you guys as I need to. Vik, coming from a point of view of having seen it a bunch of times, you've still only seen it a handful of times, Alex. So that's when we're going to be refining it. Then the week after, Vik's traveling, and it's at that week that I think we'll record it. So we have a microphone, we have everything that we need, and for that 1 week, we're basically going to work nonstop, morning till night. If the vibe catches us to go get pizza or go for lunch or go to a club, then we'll do it. But I feel like that's the week that we're going to properly lay it down, because we've rarely had a situation where the business has been either a combination of offline that much as well as not under any hardcore pressure. And I think it's at that point that we'll see the genesis moment where we go from, heavy on the agency stuff to more teaching. And I think things like testimonials and other route to markets are going to be super useful. So, and then the week after Vik is back, so we can show him what we've done. We won't send him any stuff whilst he's overseas. And then we're ready to go. So I expect 4P's will go to market next month, which is April. And Ramadan's a cool month in the city anyway. So like everyone's going to have like a much better vibe. So yeah, it's going to be great. So that's an update on the 4P's. Stay tuned. If anybody is interested in content strategy, they want to become people that work with us to help get this into organizations, or if you work in learning and development, reach out to me right now, raj@creativecontentagency.com. We can start having preliminary conversations. It goes without saying that if you do business with us this year in 2022, the kind of sweetheart deals you're going to get are going to be unbelievable, and you're going to get major like alpha advantage from that. So make sure you message us and let us know. All right, next.
Cool. Potential trip to London.
Oh, let's do good news, bad news. Potential trip to London and events. So
Okay.
events is another thing that we're going to do. Alex, pop up 2 overlays. On the event side, we are going to be doing, we're not going to be doing My Friends, Your Friends and the other event,
Papa.
Papa.
Separate
See,
club.
Papa's still in the mix somewhere. Papa's still in the ether somewhere, but our involvement in Papa is going to diminishes exponentially as each day goes by, because our ability to give that the marketing it deserves it gets less and less the closer we get to the event. So Papa, I would say, is down to like a 25%. My Friends, Your Friends, in terms of pre-Ramadan, it's basically a 0. So we have somewhere in place, but we're gonna have to keep it on ice, because the only other week that we could do it and do it pre-Ramadan would be the week that Vik is away. And I wouldn't feel comfortable doing My Friends, Your Friends if Vik is away and my little sister's away and a bunch of different people are away.
Yeah.
So I think we'd be too short-staffed. And so My Friends, Your Friends, just keep your eyes open. It will be coming back. But as you can see, the reason why we have a podcast called A Lot Going On is because we're trying to make sure that all plates stay on top of the stick and spin, but not all of them are going to spin their fastest. My Friends, Your Friends isn't spinning its fastest at the moment. And as far as the trip to London's concerned, so I reached out to some people already. London looks like it's good to go. I think I can justify it from a time point of view and from a cost point of view. It'll be before my birthday, because it's looking like I'm probably going to go to Collision in Toronto. Are you up for that?
Possibly.
Vic.
Possibly.
20th to the
That's
23rd.
June, right? End of June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll do my birthday party that weekend.
Okay.
And then probably come back to London and do one there. You've already said that you want to come
That's
to Canada,
right.
Kish,
Yeah,
right?
looking forward to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, he's already there.
Yeah, because
Even if
we had dinner the other day and he was
Yeah.
like, because I think originally for my 40th, for those who don't know, the plan for my 40th was I was supposed to be in Toronto in 2020
2020, that's right.
to shoot Collision and then and then at the day after Collision, we do my 40th birthday party in Toronto, fly to London the following weekend, do my 40th birthday there, fly to Dubai the following weekend, do my 40th birthday party there, and then the following weekend go to Bali and just do like a friends and family thing. So over 4 weeks, 4 continents, Corona put an end to all that. We ended up doing a small intimate gathering here in Dubai for our dearest friends. And then, oh no, that didn't happen for my 40th. It was 8 people.
Yeah, I wasn't even here.
Yeah, it was 8
I was
people.
locked down in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
Oh.
true.
You had
It
that
was-
little lunch.
The last day of me being 40 is when we did the small party. We did a party off the wall for about 140 people. Then we've not really done anything since. So Kish is down. You could be down.
Could be down.
And then after that, the thing is, do we go to California and see Vinay, who's the
Vinay,
guy that I talked
that's
about who
right.
introduced us? Or, anyway, to be confirmed. So London, watch out. I'd say I'm at the 25% mark, which means that there's a real chance that it could happen.
Yeah.
But a few more little building blocks to be put in place. I need to make sure that it's worth the trip. I mean, it is worth the trip, but I'm trying to just maximize it. So
Yeah.
a few more phone calls to happen.
Versus what you have to do here and, whatever.
Hold tight, London. Okay.
A London gathering is long overdue. You've not been back for many years now.
Yeah, so I was randomly going through my screenshots yesterday because I was looking for some old screenshots, and I found the London trip on a random screenshot. It was July 2019.
Yeah.
So we're fast approaching 3 years. I've been telling everyone it's September 2019. It's not at all. Although I might have gone in September as well. But anyway, it doesn't even matter. Point being is it's been a long time.
Generally, though, it is heartening that overall, things are beginning to open up a bit more and we can make these plans. And that's been one of the most sort of bleakest parts of our lives in the last couple of years or so.
Yeah, I went for 36 hours in 2019.
Did
That
you?
was the last time I went.
That's it. Just 36 hours.
That's it. And then the year before that. So
Yeah.
been a
Long
long time.
overdue.
Cool. So world of content.
Okay, what's going on in everyone's world of content this week?
Well, the first thing that we were going to discuss is Kanye getting suspended from Instagram.
Ah,
Yeah.
Do you
Damn.
want to
Me?
give us the
lead on
overview
that
on
one?
that. Yeah.
Bro. No, I just saw that he got suspended off Instagram for some things he said about Trevor Noah.
Yeah, so our first reaction when we heard that was that there's a lot of back and forth between him and Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
and this is not a
there's-
gossip section. I don't really care who's saying what to
Yeah,
what.
exactly.
But it wasn't actually that. It was because Trevor Noah did a piece on the controversy between Kanye and Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
And then he kind of caught a stray, really. Like Kanye went at Trevor Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Trevor Noah is a pretty likable character. He's a pretty
Yeah.
likable household name. He
Yeah.
doesn't really like saber rattle too much. I mean, of course he does, but he just seems like he comes across like a nice guy and not somebody who's got a bad intent.
Mm-hmm.
But he got a direct shot from Kanye. Quite offensive, especially if you're in the black community.
Yeah.
Some of the language that was used amongst people is on the higher end of offensive. And enough to the point whereby Instagram has taken him off Instagram for 24 hours.
24 hours.
Okay,
Yeah.
as reported by a bunch of
Every
news-
Everybody,
single
yeah.
media outlet.
Everybody.
BBC, Evening Standard, CNET, BuzzFeed. Like literally, you Google that and it's like every single media outlet has said it.
We're getting to the stage right now. You know when people say if Instagram was a country, it would be the size of this country, and this country combined. When you are responsible for a population that big, whether it be digitally, virtually, or physically, inevitably there's policies. And what's interesting right now is that we are seeing social media platforms come up with what feel like federal level policies and effectively putting people in jail, because what Kanye got with this 24-hour ban is the shot glass version of what Trump got when he got completely deplatformed.
Completely, yep.
And we've seen what happens over a long period of time if you get deplatformed, because there's been a lot of people that have been cancelled. There have been a lot of people that have said things that are racist or anything from that world. And, you know, it's not a good look if you get taken off these platforms permanently, especially if you're in business. And I think what makes it harder for Kanye is that the new album that he's put out hasn't really made the splash that it was meant to make as well, because the people that need to hear it, the people that need to be empowered with the music are not empowered with it. The DJs and some of the other people that need to be going around being like, have you heard this album? They're not going around saying it's good. And with Kanye albums, you don't always get it on the first listen.
Sure.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and College Dropout are different, of course. But sometimes it takes 2 or 3 listens for us as the tastemakers to like it before we start talking about it or playing it in our sets or tweeting about it or whatever. So kind of, if your art is good, America tends to forgive you because it's a consumer society. If you produce things that society wants, they'll forgive you. But he's also at this time not had his album really, really reach. And he's been caught up in so much of this controversy that now he's found himself banned.
I actually think using Kanye as an example of that, because what you're saying, I think, is right. But Kanye's example is not quite right, because he's become bigger than his music, his albums, and everything. So actually, him not being able to distribute, or him not distributing the album in a traditional sense, him getting banned off Instagram, this like back and forth with Pete Davidson, all this kind of stuff, it just feeds into everything that is Kanye West and has been for some time. So using him as an example is probably not the right thing. I don't know who would be a good example, but the premise of what you're saying is absolutely right. And I think for most people, it works against them. But for Kanye, it actually works for him, because he takes anything. You know, all publicity is good publicity type thing. So he takes anything, soaks it in, like the Black Panther costume, like takes it all in and then just spits it back out again. That's him. But other people, I think other celebrities, it will definitely have an impact on. What do you reckon, Kish?
Yeah, what I would say is that just because he has a very extrovert, outlandish character, and that's what he's built his career on for so many years, you know, it doesn't give him the excuse to be completely abusive. And I almost felt like over the last few years or so, I mean, I'm not so much knowledgeable about this issue with Kim Kardashian, the divorce and the new boyfriend and stuff, but it kind of like gave the signal that it was okay to troll. And trolling is obviously a massive problem amongst the internet these days. And I think good for Instagram for putting them away for 24 hours, you know? And that seems the right. I wouldn't say like he should be banned permanently at all. You know, there's a lot worse people out there that need to be banned permanently, I reckon. But I think it does send a signal that, you know, just because you have an extrovert character doesn't mean that you can get away with saying anything.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that for sure. Like, no one should be given the permission to get away with such abuse. And the punishment of getting banned is a signal to people that if you troll, this is going to happen. But I just think Kanye specifically, I just don't think he cares enough. I believe he doesn't care
No, that's
enough.
very true. Yeah, he doesn't.
And he'll just do whatever and say, and it's apparent that he's saying whatever he wants to say. Yeah. And that's okay if that's what he wants to do. But I don't think it's right. It's not excusable. But he's just not going to get affected by it.
I almost feel that maybe he knew that something was going to happen, and this is just part of his career strategy.
Could
you
be.
know, it'll actually make him more of a messiah. You know. For his next album release, whatever that will be.
What do you think from your perspective as a young fella, as a growing lad?
I also think Kanye doesn't care because he has such a like army behind him of like youth that there'll always be a group of people who don't care what he does, whether it's not right or if it is right. That there's such large percent of people who are behind what he does that are like, I'm still with Kanye no matter what he will do.
So can I ask you a question then? Looking at it, just drawing lines between what everybody said, do you think it's Kanye specifically, or do you think it's the cultural fabric, that he's stitched into? I'll give you another example. Boozy keeps getting banned. Boozy Badass keeps getting banned. And the more he gets banned, the more that people want him on Instagram. And then he might come back temporarily, or he might show up on somebody else's Instagram, but then quickly gets banned again. But the culture is so behind him that actually, especially in the hip hop world, Instagram is big, but hip hop culture is bigger than Instagram. And so him being one of the leading figures in the hip hop community, you're right, certainly getting banned for 24 hours is nothing. It's a candle in the sun moment for him. Like it's nothing. In fact, as you rightly said, it probably helps his notoriety, right? It's the equivalent of, it's the modern day equivalent of like Tupac shooting at the cops. You know what I mean? It's like you had this moment. On balance, it won't, but if he was to continue with this behavior and become permanently deplatformed, I think that would make a material difference, because that only leaves the Kanye West brand with other platforms, which is in this case TikTok, which he's not keen on. He's outspoken against TikTok. Yeah. It leaves him with Twitter, which doesn't have the same social media mechanics as Instagram. Facebook is it's a lost city at this point, right? It's basically Aztec. So, I think it's worth watching.
I have a question actually.
Yeah.
How long? Okay, let me reframe this question. Over the years, for many years now, specifically in music and all forms of entertainment, let's take music, there's controversial artists. So you have Ozzy Osbourne, Marilyn Manson, Michael Jackson, Sid Vicious, even Madonna. All of these. There's too many to mention, right? Kanye West, you could argue, is one of those types of characters in music, but they've all had their time in the sun, right? They come, they go, whatever, and relevancy is important in that. Now, Kanye's relevancy has been around for many years, and with social and exactly what you just said about it being part of the fabric of culture and society, as long as he keeps feeding into that, he could stay relevant for many, many, many years to come. So how long do you think Kanye's reign will last not as a music artist, maybe as a music artist, but as a controversial figure? I'll put it out to all of you.
Yeah, but I think at the moment, with like, because of the divorce with Kim and like Kim having a new boyfriend and everything, there was a lot of area for him to be in the media and in the center of everything that's happening. But
there's always something.
Right? I agree, but this is bigger than
Trump
most.
Thing, the thing, there's always something. So, like, how many times is there going to be a moment? How many times is that going to happen? How long will this? It's just a question to.
Yeah, but I think it's a matter of just when people stop caring, which is who knows when, because people will decide that. It's like there's no way of knowing. It's at some point people are going to be like, he keeps doing this, and who cares?
Do you think his music will keep him going? Like. And then he just layers the controversy on top of that.
He needs the controversy to push his music, because like he's just like, for this, he's in the, like you said, every single media outlet picked this up. You know how much that helps him just for his name to be out there.
What do you reckon?
I feel he's a renegade. He's his own worst enemy now, and he's more of an older generation. I feel he doesn't have so much resonance with some of the younger generation coming through, and just naturally, so he will fade out like eventually. Give it like 5 years or so at least. I still think he's gonna try his best to come back with like further stuff, more controversial stance. But I think as time moves on and a new generation of consumers of music come through, he'll just not be relevant, and he'll probably get more antagonized because of it.
What do you reckon?
Kanye will be relevant for as long as he wants to be relevant. Because if you look at Madonna, respectfully, great artist, but trend hopped. So she started off big on the kind of like LGBTQ scene in New York, and then that merged into fashion, and then that merged into just having a voice on whatever the zeitgeist was. So she's always been a reactionary artist, in my opinion, and she leans in and she does a good job. Then I think if you look at Ozzy Osbourne or any of these other people, they are going to be as big as their genre allows them to be. Ozzy Osbourne's music after a while doesn't make you feel the same way.
That's right.
And everybody else ages up and they don't feel too, they don't feel like they want to go out and destroy stuff or anything, whatever, like just whatever's going on at these rock concerts. Like even having fun, whatever their version of fun is. The only exception I would say to that would be Michael Jackson. I think if Michael Jackson was still around today, he could click his fingers and get the whole world to look at him for some reason or another. But ironically, he'd need music to back him up, and the music would still have to be good. Kanye is different because Kanye sets the trend. There's no Gold Digger record before Gold Digger. There's no 808 and Heartbreaks before 808 and Heartbreaks. Some of these records he's done don't sound like anything that have come out 3 years previous or 15 years previous. So he breaks new sounds. Combine that with going on TV and saying George Bush doesn't care about black people. Combine that with making clothes that are really nice for a lot of people. Like I don't buy Yeezy clothes, but the new slides at $65, I think that's good value for money. They look good. I've started wearing like Jordan slides now, and I'm like, these are way better than just wearing like normal slides. Like I would actually probably now buy some of his products. So I think it's different for him. I think he creates culture enough, he's controversial enough, and he's diversified. And so that combination gives him the keys as to how long he stays relevant versus a Michael, a Prince, an Ozzy, a Madonna, and any of these other people.
Those guys are more reliant on either culture or music. But this guy, Kanye, is he can swing any of those kind of pivots or those like pendulums one way or the other, and he'll be relevant. Yeah. And I think as long, but it's important. I think he's got to do all three. He can't just do the music now because he's gone too far with the controversy. He can't just do controversy because he's too diverse and too kind of progressive with his music. He can't just do the cultural thing because he's got to do a combination of all three.
That's a very good point. Yeah, it's a super good point. He's relevant as long as he wants to be relevant, as long as he keeps investing in those three buckets.
Yes.
If he stops, and that's what I mean, if he chooses to stop or he's forced to stop, God forbid, then he'll obviously dilute away as well.
I mean, perhaps this is more of a personal reflection really, but I kind of think that so Kanye West definitely has had a lot of achievements over his career, but I would say in the last 5 years I've just not really resonated with a lot of his content, his music in particular, and that's why I feel like he's not had much leverage in the music scene, as he once was, and it's more out of desperation, all of these controversial stunts that he's doing now. I'd always like to be proven wrong. Oh, and by the way, Vik, he was meant to be running for president in a few years' time, so that's
there's also that as well. So that'll keep him relevant for a little while longer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Kanye, get that app reinstalled. In a few hours' time, you'll be back.
There you go.
All right, next.
Cool. We got a couple of content recommendations as well. You had one.
Well, what else? What else? Somebody else got? I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Now hold on. Kish, you had one at the beginning about Stormzy. Stormzy's just announced his third album.
Oh right, yeah. So Stormzy announcing his third album later this year. Stormzy being one of the biggest UK rap artists around at the moment, and it's for me, it's a great look to see how UK rap has come of age ever since I've been following it all of my life. And I'll be going to see him in concert in a couple of weeks' time at the O2 Arena. This was a concert that was meant to have happened in March 2020, and it's been rescheduled 2 or 3 times since for you know what. I don't need to mention it. And it's just a coming of age now. It's finally going to happen. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I don't know if you remember, so Stormzy did Reading Festival last year, I think, but he certainly did Glastonbury the year beforehand. Iconic sets. And it's great to see someone a UK artist being embraced. I'm not going to say US-wide, but certainly worldwide, getting a lot of a huge fan base.
When did Stormzy come out? When was his debut single album?
He started dancing around the charts in 16, didn't he? With Shut Up.
That's
his
right.
crossover moment.
16,
Yeah.
2016. So
Maybe
16 or
even
17.
And
earlier.
Maybe 15.
and he dropped an F64 for SBTV back in 2013. So
Wow.
that's
Okay.
been a while.
Wow.
So, but like commercially, 2016. So that's 3 albums in 6 years.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I thought he was around for longer. In my head, I was like, he's definitely been around long. Maybe it was like the 2013 thing. But yeah, cool, good. And you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's well, I need to get my money's worth for a couple of years waiting for the concert. It's all good, and it's just at the moment, just coming from being a Londoner, seeing I've been to a few concerts now. One of the things I really missed was concerts, and having seen Dave 3 weeks ago now again at O2 Arena, and seeing all of the UK rap scene sort of like opening up again in terms of live events is very much heartening and very much looking forward to it.
Good for you. Cool.
Nice. So for me, up until yesterday, my content recommendation was Sadhguru, who is a mystic and a spiritual figure who is on a media run right now in the US. So I was surprised to see him on Ebro in the Morning with Ebro, who I've met, nice guy, and Rosenberg and Laura Stiles. It was good. I thought, okay, it's interesting. 30 odd minutes of conversation between hip hop's broadcasting elite in New York and a guru as such. Then on the YouTube algorithm, I saw that he'd done Joe Rogan. So I switched over to Spotify after finishing the conversation on Hot 97 and saw the Joe Rogan conversation. Now, I would actually say that my recommendation would have been Sadhguru and Joe Rogan. Why? Because it's the first time that I've actually seen an Eastern mystic face to face with a Western skeptic. So Joe Rogan is like, prove it. I need evidence. I need data. Now, they don't argue, not at all. Joe Rogan's super respectful and super inquisitive, but you definitely get a feeling from Joe Rogan where he's like, yeah, but there's no video evidence of this. There's no this, of that. Like, how do you know there's a heaven? How do you know there's that? Now, the cause that Sadhguru is aligned with is about the topsoil around the world. And essentially, if the topsoil, the first 15 inches of soil is ruined, then it impacts all of us. It impacts our nutrition. It impacts where we go as a society, and could even lead to like food shortages as soon as 2040. He believes that people could hit the streets and food could become, a reason why people start fighting and whatnot. So that was I think that's a good recommendation. I think it's worth checking out. And especially for me, there's been so many people in the wellness world and like that kind of thing that I've missed a lot of it. I've obviously followed what Jay Shetty's done and a few others, but not really followed as much on the Sadhguru stuff, even though I've seen him popping up with Will Smith and a few others. Oh, shout out to you, by the way.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Kish, for giving me the Will Smith book. So I've seen him on those platforms, but yeah, I thought that was a good one until I saw a piece of content which I was very excited about. So I saw last night in full, just over 2 hours worth of content, Earn Your Leisure, which I think are the most underrated content producers on the internet today. I really feel like they are some of the best. They've been very consistent in their presenting style. Essentially, they talk about earning money, revenue streams, how the markets work, how entrepreneurship works. But they're 2 young black guys, very, 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 very smart in the way that they've put their content pieces together, because they talk to entrepreneurs from the hip hop world. They talk to entrepreneurs from the non-hip hop world, like the traditional world, the crypto space. They've merchandised themselves with some other incredible talent that are specialists. And then they had a conversation with Steve Harvey, who is now 65 years old, a comic, an institution in the United States, who's had some significant ups and downs. And he dropped some incredible, incredible gems. It's highly motivating. He went in on the UAE twice, in a positive way, of course. He did a whole bit about Abu Dhabi towards the end, and then a whole bit about UAE at the beginning. Now, obviously, we've seen him around here a fair bit. We actually shot him once. here for one of our clients, and he's a nice enough dude, definitely. And it was just a really, really interesting piece of content. He talks about deal making. He talks about being ripped off by his accountant. Exactly how that happened, I won't give away spoilers, but you know, he talks about some of that stuff. What was some of the reasons for his success? He spends a lot of time talking about his wife and her impact, their kids. He's obviously got famous kids as well. Highly recommended piece of content. So much good stuff on there, and both those guys who have interviewed him have done incredible. I think Earn Your Leisure is the modern day blueprint for how you build a media company around a particular subject matter.
Yeah, agreed. Their content is amazing. I keep seeing micro clips coming up of Steve Harvey on my Instagram and various places. So I'm really waiting to get stuck into that one. Plus, he looks like a pimp on there, doesn't he? He's got the cigar.
They do a whole bit where they talk about him rebuilding his image and his fashion and all that. So yeah, and we know somebody who works with him out here. I actually posted once about Steve Harvey and tagged her in, and then I had to take it down. So I was like, so let me not put a name out there, but she's very accomplished, very smart, and we'll give her a shout out on a separate episode. But yeah, we've seen Steve Harvey around here a lot, and it's a really, really good interview. If I remember anything else that you said, I probably should have written it down. I'll mention it again, but that would be my number one content recommendation.
Yeah, I think people should just go and check it out. I think people should. I'm going to do it this weekend. I listened to Arnold Schwarzenegger on the Tim Ferriss show.
He's back for a second time.
No. See, I thought it came up on the feed and I was like, oh, cool. I haven't heard this. It's like 7 years old or something. And I didn't know. I've been listening to Tim Ferriss for ages, and I didn't know. I listened to it and then I Googled it. I was like, this is like mad old, like crazy old, like 7 years. But it's really good. I've never once heard a full interview, a deep dive into Arnold Schwarzenegger's life and career. And it's just really amazing to hear his story about being a bodybuilder, then becoming a real estate millionaire and then going into acting, and how he got the acting gigs and what he does now, and, his governorship and everything. He's extremely articulate, very smart, very funny. And Tim Ferriss is a great interviewer. So I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think people should check it out. It's still relevant to this day.
Yeah. I think if it's something that exists on the internet like that, we can spoil it. Batman we can't spoil, but like stuff like that.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's nothing secretive about it, but people should just check it out. It just talks about how he was like. So the big takeaway for me from that was the way he used to win, and I don't necessarily recommend people do this, but there's something in it. The way he used to win the bodybuilding contests was through like negging, like putting all the other bodybuilders down around him. So just like sly little digs going, the calf muscles, or looking a bit podgy there, or, puffy around just little things that just make them feel insecure, because it's all about how you look. Every single part of this competition is about how you look. So he's like, the upper hand is not just the physical thing, because everyone can look good, everyone can go out and get a tan, everyone can do this, that and the other, do the shed water and all of that stuff before the competition, but it's the mental. Because then when he goes out on stage, everyone has this tiny little bit of insecurity in their eyes about the way they look, and Arnold walks out with 100% confidence, and he goes, that's what made me win. That's what made me win. So it's not fake it till you make it, but it's, I'm going out with confidence. Now, he did it in a bit of a,
He built the biggest building by tearing the other buildings down a bit.
No, I don't recommend that. But the bit in that is the confidence. It's like, they look at you in the eyes and they can see the confidence. And that was really cool. And then he goes, I didn't rely on my film career. I mean, he's one of the most successful actors in the world. He goes, but I built a real estate empire before I put everything in on acting. So he just bet on himself every single time. It's just a really good interview. Like, he's great.
Nice. Cool.
Dope.
What about you?
I know this, it's 2 weeks old, but the Lex Friedman with Mark Zuckerberg podcast.
Oh, did you finish that yesterday?
Yeah, I finished it.
How is it?
Sorry, with
Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
Zuckerberg. What do you call it? Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg.
Same but different. You feel me?
It's a Swiss
That's racist. It's not the same but
racist?
different. Yeah.
It's the Swiss pronunciation.
No, but it was very interesting, especially since this, like, just the metaverse. Like, there hasn't been a proper deep dive on it, and I think Lex Friedman asked a lot of interesting questions about like identity and like on the metaverse, because just Instagram, I can create an account naming myself Vik Majaria. That doesn't mean I'm him, but in the metaverse, like, I can literally dress myself up as anyone in this room. And like, who's to say I'm not them? So like, there's like that identity part in the metaverse that like needs to be figured out, or like he has answers to, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to be the one to say all of that because I don't want to mess anything up. But yeah,
Is it
No,
quite
you can say.
technical?
I think we should just say we
But-
should create a policy. If there's something you want to do, just share it out there.
no,
Is it
not in
quite-
terms.
is
I
it-
don't want to spread information that's not, because I don't know exactly what Mark thinks and everything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He goes way more in depth, and I think he would do a much better job explaining it than I would do. So
I'm very interested in seeing how moderation will take place in a metaverse. If moderation could even exist in metaverse, where someone like Kanye West could go tenfold on what he's done so far. That's my worry. I think the metaverse being a construct where it's like a brave new future, but in reality, it could actually cause more damage and harm.
Was the interview quite technical?
yeah. I mean, what Lex Friedman podcast isn't?
Yeah, that's true.
He always asks, like, he knows what to ask and like how to get really deep into a subject.
So you need to like really sit down and
Yeah.
get in the headspace for
It's
it.
not something you listen to while doing something else, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're good with the world of content. Anything else that you want to put in there?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. So
I'm really upset that I forgot the best bit of the Steve Harvey interview, but whatever. Just go watch it. We'll link it up in the show notes, Alex.
Yeah.
So we can end up with some shout outs. She's some birthday shout outs.
Yeah, shout out to my little sister Sonal, who's over in Bali right now, taking the first holiday in a long time, well deserved. Happy 37th birthday to her. Shout out to Peter over at
Peter.
Papa. Big up to you. Happy birthday, well deserved. And shout out to our friend Yuvraj. If you've got any shout outs, let's launch this today. If you've got any shout outs and you want us to shout you out on the show, drop us a DM at Raj Kotecha, or if you don't want me to know, then drop Vik a message at VIKMORJARIA. We would love to start giving shout outs this week because there's so many people that do so many nice things for us. And if we can't give you a shout out every now and again, then who are we?
Also, my sister-in-law Sonali, it's her birthday today. So happy birthday to her.
At Sonali Cooks, wicked Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, actually, March, like we'd end up doing another podcast just for March birthday.
Do it.
for our family.
Do
Like,
it, yeah.
No, there's me, there's Sonal, there's my sister-in-law Sonali, there's my brother Jay, there's
Chirag, Roshni, Shamik.
there's Roshni. Shamik's February the 20th, but more or less March. There's-
Shamik came early.
There's Mahi, there's my dad. I mean, there's so many. There's so many, but
Shout out
yeah,
to our
March-
whole family that all
yeah.
chose to be born in March. Okay, so that's it. Any other shout outs?
that's everyone.
That's it.
Nobody done anything nice for you guys this week?
No one ever does anything nice for me.
Terrible. Do you want to shout anybody out, Kish?
Well, no, shout out to Chirag because it was his birthday a couple of days ago
Yeah,
as
it
well.
was.
Yeah. I thought
I
he was
think
40. On the
him
group chat,
and-
I was like, happy 40th.
Yeah.
It's 39.
So him and Cav are in Madeira.
Madeira,
at the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Yeah, Portugal.
Portugal, yeah.
Oh, never heard of it. Okay, good. Hope you enjoyed the show. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple and Spotify if you did. And YouTube crew, by the way, I think we broke 50 views on the last episode. So I'm quite proud of that. But make sure you subscribe, comment, like. We need more micros. We dropped some hella good gems on crypto last week. We need to, in fact, let's just make part of the SOP just chopping up every single thing that we talk about and then just give me the option to release it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex isn't doing anything on his way to Abu Dhabi as well tonight. So okay, good. So we'll see you next week on the show. Hope you enjoyed it. We should have hopefully a long form interview with Tahir coming out and one with our friend Rav. Let's get those out ASAP.
That's what we said last episode.
Yeah, we
And the one
need to
before
get them
that.
out. They're great.
Every
I spent a bit of time signing off the Tahir one yesterday. It was very, very good. One of our clients who has made a whole bunch of social media content around real estate, selling millions of dollars of real estate through TikTok. You're going to find out how. Stay tuned to the feed. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.